So after the match, Lawlor does a spin around and pulls the trunks down again to reveal his really tight short shorts. And was it Matt Raywolf goes, worst stripper audition ever. I think it was Raywolf. I can't remember if it was Raywolf or Ichabani, but I'm pretty sure it was Raywolf said worst stripper audition ever.
I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason why Kevin Nash made it into the Magic Mike movies and not Tom Lawlor. Just putting out there.
Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. And just over here, I got it right this time. I pulled up the right arm, the proper arm this time, is my co-host, Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I'm doing pretty good. I really hope that my dog burping didn't just come over the microphone there.
I heard something, but I don't know what it was. It might have been a burp. It might have just been something in my head. I don't know. Tell us in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us in the comments below if you heard the dog burp. It's the new game. Have you heard the dog burp this week? That's our new game here on NJPW Puroresu Review.
Did the dog burp? What a week. We are halfway through this week, and man, we have had some amazing wrestling that we're coming off of the weekend. We did mention it a little bit in our Stardom review that dropped today, this morning, maybe an hour ago. But we have the amazing Battle of the Valley show to talk about today. Andre, how are you doing today, though?
Just woke up about 40 minutes ago.
Relatable.
Yeah, it's another beautiful day. I get to talk some wrestling with you, so it's always a positive. And still got to watch some Pro Wrestling Noah, which we don't usually cover here, which we are going to. We have the Muto final show, the Muto Love Bye Bye. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, that we'll be covering next week here on New Japan. On the review, because this week has been insanely insane. I've been sick, so we had to delay recordings, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So I'm feeling better finally. So, and I still got to catch up on Stardom, so we can for next week too. So it's going to be a giant mess.
We've got a lot of wrestling to watch, but man, what a time to be a wrestling fan. We've got choices, so many choices that if you want a specific thing, chances are you can find that specific thing.
Oh, very much so, and. Before we get into Battle Valley, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below because we love getting your comments because we like hearing from you. We want to talk to you, we want to interact with you. So please make the comments below. Please like and subscribe. And a big shout out to Rogue Energy. Scan the QR code in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And use the promo code OLEPODS for 10% off your order at rogueenergy.com. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I got my Mina Shikakawa right here filled with juice today because I don't have my Rogue Energy quite yet. I am out, but I will be getting some soon. Yeah, but actually, check them out. Send QR code OLEPODS. But we are going to get into Battle in the Valley right here. Boom, that beautiful logo back for a Battle in the Valley. Absolutely phenomenal. We're going to go over the pre-show matches, which Mel didn't get a chance to see because she was watching it with other people. I don't know what that's like. I was watching it alone at home, but talking to my friends on Discord.
Yeah, we had actually went from watching Elimination Chamber live to the little kind of gray area in between there, and then we started watching Battle of the Valley when it was live. Though we did miss the pre-show, which I'm a little disappointed about, but because I wanted to see what David Finlay was capable of, but later.
You saw what he was capable of. It happened in them. It happened. So we kick it off with Alex Coughlin versus J.R. Kratos. Again, this is a very Coughlin's got his incredible power, his incredible strength, but then you got J.R. Kratos, who's just massive a human being, and it was so this is where the production problem started on this show. The audio was complete shit. This started almost 10 minutes late because the audio there was no announcers on the pre-show. You could hear like the production crew talking during this match and part of the next match, that you could hear them, and you couldn't hear, like, you know how usually when you watch wrestling, you can hear them land in the ring, like hear that doosh against the mat. You couldn't hear any of that. You could hear it faintly, very faintly, like hearing the ring, and you could hear the crowd. And then when the music would play, it was the only sound. It was the production level on this was and it didn't get much better on the pay-per-view. I'll tell you that right now. This match is absolutely.
What happens when you go from Japan to the US, though. I mean, the Japanese they're very, 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 very meticulous with every little tiny little detail that they do. It probably didn't send that crew from Japan over to the US. There, they have their own crews, obviously. So,
for that,
guys.
I'm praying for Multiverse United, which is that show they're doing at the end of March 30th with Impact. Yeah, I'm really hoping Scott D'Amore says, "Shut the fuck up! My team's doing production." Because if you watch an Impact Fight TV presentation, there is rarely any mess ups. Where Fight TV, almost every single time, there's a mess up. I think Rumble and 44th Street was the only time I think there was no major mess ups for them. So that's where I'm just like, I think honestly, Impact should be the team running the production side for Multiverse United, because I don't want another battle in the Valley, especially with Ospreay versus Mike Bailey on that show. I do not need production issues.
Well, now that we've gotten the production issues out of the way, tell me about this freaking match, because I missed it, and I want to know if Crazy Eyes there upgraded his eyeballs.
Oh, dude, this match was insane. Like, these two just smashing the crap out of each other. The forearms, the punches back and forth. Dude, this crazy flip enseguri by JR Kratos. Like, he did a backflip into an enseguri. I was so impressed. Like, he did, like, it was sort of like a Pele. He did a Pele. But as he comes back, he twists it, like he kind of twists a bit and like kicks to the side of the head instead of just like kick to the top. It looked like it was like a twist, a flip into a twist into an enziguri. It looked really impressive because a man of this mass to do that. Oh crap, that was cool. Coughlin though, he's my biggest takeaway from this. I had this amazing bridging. He got Kratos in the following time and went back with it and bridged it. Like amazing. And then he rolls to the mat, and then this has been online. I don't know if you saw it, where he like goes up, he kicks his legs up, and he's like balancing on his head, the top of his head and his feet, and then he just reefs himself up, like pure core strength. It is just it's impressive as hell. I called it like a spider kip up or something, because he went into that like spider position just with the head, not with the hands down, and then just came
very
up.
Lucha. Very
yeah,
lucha.
And then just came up. Like, dude, the core strength on this guy to do that is insane. But in the end, Alex Coughlin wins with the bridging German suplex. Like,
that's what I like to hear.
He showed why he's the android. The power on this man is absolutely tremendous.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. I was very concerned about that, because I know that Kratos was definitely a mountain he was trying to climb in 2022 there. And I don't recall if he ever defeated him in a one-on-one. I know there was a one-on-one, but I can't recall if he won or not. I know he put on a tremendous battle for him, and he actually got him up into a suplex at one point and actually took Kratos over. That in itself is insane, because as you mentioned, he's a big dude.
He's
very
massive human,
to Brody
man.
King.
Yeah, he's a massive human, dude. Like, I think he's probably a bit thicker and heavier than Brody King too. So
absolutely,
and no shaming. Big boy. I'm a big boy here. I no shame anybody for their size.
But Brody King is slimming down. He's leaning out quite a bit for his AEW run right now,
especially comparatively to like say 2 years ago, like when he was on strong. Yeah,
he's still doing the crazy flippy stuff. We can't get off track here because we will talk about Brody King.
We're gonna move on to the second match. Now, this match was the match itself, despite the production value, it was, like the audio issue. This match was absolutely tremendous. Both these men just like, I think Bobby Fish is probably one of my favorite like technical guys in the business of like all the time. He's so good. Like he's so underrated. His TV title run in ROH was absolutely phenomenal. And then
Even better
David
than
Finlay,
ZSJ?
pardon?
Even better than ZSJ? You're pretty on ZSJ.
No, he's one of my favorites. Sabre's the number one technical wrestler of all time, in my opinion. But he's one of my favorites, like over history, because I watched this guy for so many years in ROH just be so underrated. I think he's probably my most favorite underrated technical wrestler. Let's just say that, because he doesn't get the flowers that he deserves for how good he is for incorporating that MMA style into his work, like for his kicks, his strikes, his takedowns, everything. Like, I want to see him and Lawlor go at it in a truly good, like, true MMA fight is what I want to see these two. Like, it's all. And remember, Tom Lawlor used to be his manager in ROH. So,
I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But absolutely phenomenal match for both. Because David Finlay only improving match by match by match. This kid is going to be and with what's we're going to talk about later. I think this kid's going to be a star for this company, especially over on I think the main roster in Japan. Bobby Fish doing these dragon screws of Finlay into, like, he dragon screws him into, and he goes flying into the barricade, like just like using it in such a great advantage. I really like that. And then like knees him like right in the, like he got him and like kneeing him right in the thigh afterwards, trying to really affect the leg. Really good. Fish really working the knee the entire match. Like, beautiful. I'll say this: that Irish curse backbreaker, made famous by Sheamus, but Finlay makes it look so good.
Was that meant to rhyme?
No, but did it?
Famous by Sheamus.
Oh, famous by Sheamus. I guess that's a new line, I guess. There's a really great spot where Finlay goes for the trash panda, and Fish turns it, like, slides out, gets the rear naked choke, then hits a beautiful exploder on Finlay and he goes smashing into the corner on it. Great near fall. I actually thought he might have knocked Finlay out on it because the way Finlay fell on his head. But in the end, Finlay did hit the trash panda, which is the kneecap brainbuster, and gets the win. Absolutely phenomenal match. Like, there's a couple matches on this card that out exceeded for me, but these guys came out on the pre-show and just, I think, put the bar at a very high height for this entire night with how good these, and this was only maybe, I think, like 10, 12 minutes, and they set a bar. They really did.
I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, it may have only been 10 or 12 minutes, but like yesterday, I had the privilege of watching our good friend OLED and Astro Pizarro do their show after after NXT taking over there. And they said that there was like a tag team women's match, or like a three-way women's match, that was only like a 4-minute match. You know, how do you highlight so many people in such a little bit of time? You don't. You know, this kind of match is what you want to have. You want that 10-minute, 12-minute highlight match. And like, honestly, we've been sleeping on David Finlay for the last couple of years here, with him kind of being in that tag team with Juice. Since Juice has like rock harded his way over somewhere else and left David Finlay over here, he's been doing like his G1, my guy, like stepped up, showed up. He's reminded us why he deserves to be here. I feel like this was almost like a prelude. Not seeing this match, mind you, but having seen what happened later in the show, this was a prelude to what it is that we can expect from David Finlay, I think, in this year. And I think I speak for both of us when I say I'm here for it. Give us more. We want this David Finlay. We want this guy at the top of the company. Do I think he's going to be the top guy in Japan? I don't think so, but I do think that he is going to be the top guy for their strong brand, whatever they're doing going forward with the strong brand. I definitely think that they would put him in the front there, especially just because of how loud he is. You know, and then the name he has behind him, the Finlay name, he's going to do very, very well in the strong brand.
The only problem I have with that right now is, we'll talk about it in a minute, but Kenta has the title now, and you're going to need a strong baby face for Kenta. That's the thing. So
I mean, arguably Finlay's kind of like almost I don't want to say it because there's been so many comparisons, but he's kind of coming off a little bit like a new age Stone Cold to me.
Could be, but I think they want to push him as a heel first, which Stone Cold did get pushed as first. And I think that's what they're going to run. And I think I could easily see him entering back into like the never open weight division or something. The never for the never title. Him and Tama would have a phenomenal series, I think. Like, or even like stepping in. Maybe he goes to AEW and challenges Kenny for the US title. Maybe he's a challenger for him. Like, you got to think. I think they're going to want to put this guy in prominent positions. So I am excited for what the future is. We'll talk about a little more in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to get on to the opening match of the main card. It is an 8-man tag. It is Kushida, Kevin Knight, the DKC, and Volador Jr. taking on Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero, Mascara Dorada, and Adrian Quest. Now, this match was all about furthering 2 storylines. That's the way I took it. It's Volador Jr. and Rocky Romero over that CMLL Junior Championship, Cruiserweight Championship.
World Championship, isn't it?
No, it's a Cruiserweight. The World Championship's like El Vikingo or whatever. No, that's AAA. But no, this is like the Cruiserweight or something. I don't think it's the World. I think it's the Cruiserweight. I think it's like the Cruiserweight. If you look
at the size of Volador, I mean, it's very hard for me to figure out what division he's in because the guy's jacked. Like huge,
but he's not tall, so he's like
he's not Josh Alexander tall by any
he's not Taiji Ishimori short though, but
no, he's definitely got at least half a head on Rocky. But you're absolutely right. That was one of the major stories being highlighted in this one. Rocky's really coming off as a heel.
Rocky's a dick.
Yeah, like I'm used to seeing him as like the best friends and high five and Roppongi fights and whatever.
Sorry,
and he's out here acting like the biggest douche handle on freaking Volador Jr. And I was not having any of it.
It is a CMLL title, but it's actually an NWA World Historic Welterweight Championship.
Oh, there you go.
And it is defended within CMLL. It's a CMLL championship. But yeah, it is the NWA welterweight championship.
What's that title in Stardom that's been disappeared since
SWA?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I don't care to ever see that come back because it's not needed. It really is not. There's so many titles. There's so many titles. Yeah, and then the other story of this match was Josh Alexander and Kushida. Because on commentary, you had Scott Moore, the head of Impact Wrestling. And he talked about how this is the main event as long as Josh Alexander retains against Rich Swann. I guess this is coming out Friday the 24th. Today, as long as Josh Alexander retains today, for all you watching, on the 24th on No Surrender, he will defend the title against Kushida at Multiverse United. So this is again building for that. I don't see Josh dropping it to Rich Swann, not at this point. But these guys had this all. I guess all four. I will say Adrian Quest and DKC and Kevin Knight were my highlights. Don't get me wrong, Volador and Mascara Dorada did some crazy shit, but watching Kevin Knight come up in strong. Watching DKC come up in strong, watching Adrian Quest these last year or two when he's been in strong, just all these guys are young and impressive. I love watching it. Kevin and Quest just going back and forth in there, dude. Quest can hit you for he's a springboard into a Rana on night. It's just gorgeous wrestling for all these guys, man.
I agree with you on most things. I have to disagree with DKC. He's not my favorite.
He's not for everybody.
Kind of reminds me of like a little bit more animated Inaba with his. I'd like him to tone it down just a little bit and focus a little bit more on the in-ring stuff. But otherwise, I agree with you completely.
No, Kevin Knight disagree.
Is unparalleled athlete. Volador Jr. is just one of my personal favorites. He's been one of my favorites since I spotted him on the Fantastica Mania tour eons ago. I don't think Alexander's going to drop that belt to Swann, and I going on, I don't think he's going to lose to Kushida either. Kushida, very, very technical, Very, very great wrestler. But just, I feel like the size difference alone makes the walking weapon just
Oh,
just a
dude.
way more of a weapon than
I've
Kushida.
met Josh. I got to meet Josh about a year or two ago, just before pandemic hit. I think pandemic, maybe I don't know. He was here for Real Canadian Wrestling. He was the X Division champion at the time. Dude's gigantic. Like, dude
Yeah.
is a big boy, and he's only gotten thicker, and he's only gotten better since I saw him. I think he was wrestling heavy metal or MRB on the show I watched. Absolutely tremendous. Like, he can work anybody with any style. This guy is so good. Trained by one of the best in Johnny Devine. But dude, this guy is so good. Like, so good. The end of this match, though, Kushida reverses the C4 into a hoverboard lock, but they're not the legal men. So Knight gets in, hits Quest with a pendulum DDT, and gets the win. Absolutely. Like, a pendulum DDT, dude. Especially his, I will shout that out for days, because the way he goes up and how long his body is when he's up in the air and he kicks his legs up before he comes swinging back in, it just looks so impressive because of how, like, tall and long he is, right? It's just, and it looks so good. And great match with Kushida, Team Kushida getting the win.
And then, of course, the follow up afterwards to follow up more of the story with Rocky and Volador. I believe Volador challenged Rocky to a hair versus hair match, and I
Or is it hair
believe
versus title?
hair versus whatever. I mean,
No, that's what
both of
I
them were
wasn't sure.
yanking on the hair. At this point, there was chaos. I didn't know what was going on.
That's what I wasn't sure about. Is it a hair versus hair? Or is it hair versus title? Or is it hair versus hair and title? That's what I didn't understand. But
regardless, Volador's hair is at risk, and as they mentioned on commentary, Volador's rate of what is the word I am trying to say? His probability of winning this match is very, very, very high, because he typically doesn't lose these matches. The last match that he actually lost with a hair versus hair match was involving Matt Taven, and that was only because Matt Taven was his tag partner, and his tag partner turned on him, and they both had to shave their freaking heads. So, when you put another thing into the situation, obviously Volador has some problems, but I don't suspect that that story is going to conclude with Volador losing his hair.
No, I don't think so either. Like, dude, he's keeping his hair. But absolutely phenomenal match from all these men. Like, just everybody impressing. I was watching with my friends, and Andreas goes, "Is that Grand Metalik?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mascara Dorada." He's just like,
this is where again WWE stop changing everyone's fracking names.
Yeah, but he was really excited to see him, because, like, oh, I loved him in WWE. I'm like, it's absolutely phenomenal. Lucha. But we move on to the next match of the evening. It is Fred Rosser defending the strong openweight championship against Kenta. These two, like, just brawling. Both men, they're kicking, they're striking insanely hard. Like, these two are working the epitome of the Japanese strong style in this match, because both these men were just unloading with each other with the kicks and the punches. Dude, Kenta stomping on the head of Rosser, and it didn't look like he was pulling the stomp. Like, that stomp looked, I was like, like, it just looked.
There were several parts of the match that looked like that. Just in general, his palm strikes also looked like he was not pulling.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring that up, dude. Those palm strikes looked just gross. Some of them, especially when he cracked him in the face towards the end there, dude. Dude, Rosser though, like, dude, I gotta give this guy his props, man. He's propped up this strong. He took the title from Tom Lawlor, who was super hot as champion, and has only gone on to have great matches outside of the crowbar match on that Rumble Rumble the night before Rumble on 44th Street. Outside of that crowbar match, which I thought was absolutely horrendous, or was that on Rumble 44th Street? I can't remember. That crowbar match was absolutely terrible, because, and again, nothing as Rosser worked his ass off in that match. It was the fact that he was wrestling a guy who should have been retired 15 years ago. And again, some guys just can't walk away from the business, and I don't want to shame a guy for still being around, but this is a guy who should have retired a long time ago. he's been having quite the run, and his he's only got better because when he popped up on screen, Andreas goes, "Holy crap, it's Darren Young!" And I'm like, dude, he is far better than his run as Darren Young. And when he put on that crossface chicken wing, all Andreas could say was Bob Backlund, because again, it was he took the move when he was working with Backlund WWE, and he was like, but dude, insanely impressive.
Very good too.
Dude,
very
he's
good.
so good. But in the end, Kenta with those palm strikes, just smashing him, and then
clearly trained Mina Shirakawa on those.
And then they're doing that, and then Kenta runs Rosser into the ref. Rosser got the Rosser turns and he goes for a GTS and into SCF, or he turned the GTS into an SCF, and Kenta taps, but the ref is down, and that's a big point to this match. So he gets up. Juice Robinson comes out and hits what I thought was the left hand to God. His like insanely effective punch, but he actually had a roll of quarters in his hand.
Oh,
and one of the guys in my chat room when we were talking as we were watching this goes, "Oh, dude, I've been punched by a guy who had a roll of quarters in his hand. That actually really hurts." And I'm like, "What?" And
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, because it prevents your fingers from absorbing some of that shock, right?
And then
almost like a brass knuckle kind of thing.
So off that shot, Kenta hits his GTS. Pulls the ref over and gets the win. New champ, and I'm sad for Rosser because a lot of people are talking about, he just dropped it on this random show, but like I think they keep talking about wanting to have a different direction for Strong, and I think they want a name and a leader like Kenta to lead the new version of this brand, and I guess giving it to Kenta gives it a new face for the new era. Not that Rosser couldn't lead the new era. I just think Kenta, that's what they're doing here. But Kenta, I think, because he's American based now, like he's been, even his runs in Japan these last couple of years, his home is still in America, and so he's over here more than he is in Japan. This is I think whatever they're going to do, he's going to lead this brand, and it's going to be awesome.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, thank goodness the WWE did bring him over and kind of hoop him and stuck his family and stuff over there, and then dropped him like those quarters that Juice had rolled up in his hand. It couldn't have worked out better for him. I mean, he has come in. I've been saying it for years since he came back. I'm like, this is Kenta's time. This is Kenta's time. This is Kenta's time. Each time I've been disappointed. Finally, it is Kenta's time. He has a title that I feel he deserves in this company. And you're absolutely right. I think that he's probably going to be the flagship of the Strong brand that kind of leads it into whatever new era that it is that they're doing. And I feel that it was a right choice because as much as, again, nothing to take away from Fred Rosser. He did very, very well in his title run. But Kenta, he's recognizable. Even though people recognize Darren Young, who are you going to recognize first, Darren Young or Hideo Itami? As Archer always says, effing Hideo. We're going to remember, Kenta. So, yeah, I think this was a great match, tremendous match. Again, Rosser did get his ish kicked in this one. But Kenta worked very, very hard. Rosser worked very, very hard. I feel that Kenta earned that title, and I'm very happy that he finally has a title because I've been saying he was going to win the U.S. title back in 2020. It's about time.
Remember, he led this brand with a briefcase. Yep. You got to remember, he had a briefcase that was essentially the championship of New Japan Strong until the title was introduced. Because even though they're in America, the champion is nowhere to be seen. So this man led this brand with a briefcase. That's how good this guy is. He can lead a brand with a briefcase. Now that he has a title, I can't wait to see what this guy does. And the thing is, you can always run over to Japan and have a great match with somebody in New Japan proper if he wants for that title too. Just to showcase it. It's always possible. So great future, I think, for New Japan Strong with whatever they're going to do. Because I don't know if there's going to be an episode next Saturday. I don't know. Because I don't know if they've got anything filmed.
I mean, usually the strong NJPW collection game lets me know, because it lets me know that I got to check in and collect my 5 tickets. So I guess we'll see on Saturday.
Yeah. Move on to the third match for the NJPW Strong Tag Team Championships. It is Motor City Machine Guns defending against the West Coast Wrecking Crew. This was set up actually on an episode of Strong You and Me previewed. That's where it was set up from a few episodes back. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal match from these guys. Isaac's walking around ringside carrying Sabin in the suplex. Just awesome. And then drops him on the apron. Then Jorel Nelson hits a suplex to Shelly in the ring at the same time. Absolutely phenomenal. Motor City Machine Guns. These guys, I remember watching them in 2002 in Impact Wrestling, or TNA at the time. The fact that in 2023, 21 years later, these guys are still wrestling at the tremendous level that they are is absolutely amazing. But they're not, how do I say this? They're not ruining things like Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer, who are being put in main event positions in Impact Wrestling. These guys, yes, they're veterans in the business who they know their spot. Mid card, having awesome tag team matches and helping guys get over. That's what they're doing. They're doing it right. Even though they did win here, they still made Isaacs and Nelson look absolutely phenomenal in this match. But in the end, Motor City Machine Guns hit the dirt bomb on Jorel Nelson and get the win. I thought great tag team match from both these teams.
I have to agree. And again, I was the same person in 2002, 2003, watching these guys on TNA, having my first real option, other than the WWE at that time. Something I don't know. Are these guys vampires or something? Because they look exactly the same now that they did then.
Shelly might look better.
And they're performing the same level as they did now versus then. It is absolutely incredible. These guys perform so well. The only thing I want to say that I didn't like was whatever the fudge muffin was, like the new outfits of the West Coast Wrecking Crew. I was not a fan.
No.
I was just getting used to the fringe, but like I understand that they're doing the filthy thing. That was not filthy. That was just like
creepy.
Dalton Castle's Peacock Boys.
Yeah, creepy.
With fringe. It was weird. It didn't look good on either of them. And they didn't match their other accessories. No. They just kind of looked like they got it and they were like, yeah, we found this at a thrift shop. We're going to throw it on. But I will say I like the color. I mean, obviously I'm a fan of purple. But match-wise, I actually, again, very, very impressed by Senior Fringe, Mr. Royce Isaacs there. Incredible strength, incredible talent. I always forget the other one's name.
Jorel Nelson.
Nelson, right. He did very well in this match. I was actually very, very impressed. He's not my favorite of the pairing, but like this match, it brought out the absolute best in him. And it showed me why these guys are a good tag team together. Again, they're not my favorite tag team, but they impressed me so much that they could hang so well with the champions. This isn't going to be their last bout. I mean, Isaacs is tall enough. I'm sure if he put his arm up and just dangled Shelly by it, he'd be like sitting there like kicking his feet.
Probably.
But yeah,
definitely Sabin for sure.
These guys at one point, I thought that I think it was Shelly. He got rocked by something, and he's just standing there like dazed in the lights. I was like, that was a great sell. Everything about this was just, it was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And the Motor City Machine Guns retaining, again, I think it's what should happen. I think they're going to build eventually to the West Coast Wrecking Crew taking the belts, but I don't think it was the right time quite yet.
Correct. I think they want to establish a little bit more of a solidity in that one, because if you keep giving up the titles like right away, it starts to devalue those titles very, very quickly.
Well, we move on to the next match. It is Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. I'll admit, I am not the biggest Eddie Kingston fan. I think this man is an absolutely tremendous promo and character. When he talks, when he's emoting, when he's acting in the ring, when he's doing this the non-wrestling side, I think this man is absolutely tremendous. And outside of professional wrestling, the way he openly talks about mental health and being very like supportive of people's mental health, which I have really struggled with in this past year, and it's starting to get worse now, coming up on a certain anniversary. I absolutely tremendously respect this man. I listen to so many podcasts of wrestling, and a lot of these guys are like praise it. One said this is one of the matches of the year. I think this is one of Eddie Kingston's best matches outside of the Ishii matches. But I can't give it a 4-star. I could give this match a 3.5 star. I think Eddie Kingston did absolutely phenomenal because of who he was working with in this match. Jay White sold. It's Jay White's selling. It's Jay White's ability to just look like he got crushed that made this match amazing. And there was a joke we literally got in on our chat that and then we somehow figured out that Eddie Kingston is that guy in New York that just opens his coat and goes, "You want some?" Like he's selling something on the side of the street.
I thought that became Taka.
I know, but that was our joke. And then somehow it turned into he's a cronut dealer in New York. That was the entire time. I don't know how we got into that. Oh my goodness. Somebody brought up cronuts. It's like, oh, that's what Eddie Kingston's selling on the street, eh? I had to bring that up. It was a shout out to Solitaire and Andreas in the chat, man, from that night. That was so fucking funny, man. But dude, absolutely phenomenal. These guys, dude, the Uranagi by Jay just to lift him like he did and just smash him, and then the flatliner and then a deadlift German, like literally carried Kingston off the mat. This guy's strength is absolutely insane. I'll say this: the ending was what kind of hurt me because he hit, I think, 4 spinning back fists and still couldn't put Jay away, and then hits him with like the Northern Lights driver. After Jay's against him, he almost hugs at Jay in the situation and then hits him with a Northern Lights driver and gets the win. I was like,
Yeah. I was, this one sucked the life out of me. I was enjoying myself up into this one. When this happened, the flash of what the rest of the show was going to be happened in my brain, and I went, oh, fudge. I'm not going to like how the rest of this show goes. And I didn't.
Why? Why?
We will get to that, sir. That's what this show is. We are reviewing it.
I'm confused. I love the rest of the show.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you with Eddie Kingston, though. He is not my favorite guy when it comes to being the guy who wins. He's that guy who runs his mouth, gets people worked up, and then, gets silenced. I feel like this match went the way it did, hurt my heart and hurt my soul a little bit, because that's Jay White as the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He's the first ever Grand Slam champion within, New Japan here, even before Hiroshi Tanahashi.
He's number 1.
Yeah, this hurt my heart. It hurt my soul a little bit. We obviously know at this point, he's going elsewhere, and good luck to him. But man, didn't have to go out like a cow to slaughter in this one. And that's what it kind of felt like, especially the winding down moments of this one. It just felt like it was like, for the love of all things holy, just put him down, stop. Yeah, and then after, I did enjoy the show of respect afterwards, though, where Jay White's laying in the ring and Eddie is clapping on
Eddie. If you watch Eddie, like the ref counted 3, Eddie immediately rolled out of the ring. Like he got out, went to the ramp, clapped, like got his knees, clapped a bit, gave him a little like bow, and then was just telling the crowd, just kind of like indicating the crowd, like pointing at Jay White, like just saying, praise this man. Like it was a very much you could tell that's how he was presenting it. And then he just fucked off, and it was all Jay White, and then what we got from there.
Which was David Finlay coming in and pretty much, no hands up, just freaking whapping him in the face with his little shillelagh thing.
I thought he hit him in the back of the head.
No, he turned around. It was right in the freaking front.
Oh, I thought it was back. I couldn't remember.
No, because he felt him. I think he felt him slide in when he turned around. He caught it right in the left side of the face there. Didn't get his hands up. I don't know how well he pulled on that one. But White had to be dragged out afterwards after Finlay cut an amazing promo. Again, go back to what we said. I mean, could David Finlay be the first challenger to Kenta for that strong title? Would Kenta drop it to him? I don't know. It's certainly made apparent that David Finlay is interested in being the flagship of the strong brand. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm personally here for it. The viciousness of Kenta and the viciousness of Finlay, I think, would actually play off very, very well.
I'm with you there. But yeah,
that's all I got to say.
We're going to move on to a Filthy Rules match. It's a match where the ropes have been taken down. Anything goes, weapons, everything. I had a great time watching this. Again, this wasn't a technical masterpiece. I wouldn't rate this a high star match because this was just cannon plotter. It was a fun match. We'll say that. It was a lot of plottering, weapons. There was a headbutt off the top of a ladder to a chair that was laid on Homicide. Like Tom literally headbutted a chair into Homicide.
And apparently Homicide always ensures that he has a fork ready for spaghetti when he needs it. My goodness.
Dude, when he pulled those forks out, all I could think of was Vince Austin and him just destroying the town and killing RCW's drawing power and Red Deer.
Any match he's in.
Well, no, he literally forked a guy in a cage match, and the crowd just stopped showing up afterwards. Like,
fair.
I mean, no hate on Vince. I love the guy, but I love Vince, but just
he's amazing.
That's all I could think. That's all I could think was just, and I'm just like, I just don't like forks in my head. But there is so much great stuff. Like these guys, like Lawlor literally fish hooking the mouth of Homicide with the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That freaks me out though. Ever since the FTR guy.
Oh, especially with the teeth. I was scared his teeth were going to get smashed up. Like, I was scared for him.
Don't bite down.
Homicide hitting a Death Valley driver off the apron, putting Tom Lawlor through a door on the floor. Like, shout out Vince Austin again. They to me, they're the first crew that really started putting people through doors. But
yeah, that's true.
Dude,
that's true.
Dude, this match was, I thought it was just fun. Crazy is what this was. In the end, Lawlor hit the filthy knee, which we like to call he hit the nasty knee, and then he hits the filthy knee to the back of the head, which is that straitjacket knee, gets the rear naked choke on Homicide, and Homicide eventually taps out. Best line of the commentary for this match was after the match when he's doing the spin around.
Tap out. He passed out.
Oh, pass out. Sorry, I wrote tap out.
Because he passed out, flipping everyone off.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, I wrote tap out. I should have wrote pass, but I was talking to like 4 different people as I'm watching this match. So after the match, Lawlor does a spin around and pulls the trunks down again to reveal his really tight short shorts. And was it Matt Raywolf goes, worst stripper audition ever. I think it was Raywolf. I can't remember if it was Raywolf or Icarabani, but I'm pretty sure it was Raywolf said worst stripper audition ever.
I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason why Kevin Nash made it into the Magic Mike movies and not Tom Lawlor. Just putting out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, that wasn't on commentary. That was actually one of the people in my room I was talking to. That's where I got that from. That wasn't commentary. I'm sorry. That was Solitaire.
Commentary did comment about his short shorts being underneath another pair of short shorts. Though.
But the worst stripper edition ever was I think it was Solitaire in my room in my Discord saying worst stripper edition. Sorry, I'm sorry, Solitaire. That was yours, buddy. It was
good times. Good times.
You got anything on this one?
No, I really enjoyed just like the whole funness of this one. I was very concerned when I started to see weapons, but surprisingly, no blood. Very, very surprising. And I'm
I'm
pleasantly
upset.
surprised by it because I don't like seeing blood. So it worked out perfectly for me.
I'm not anti-blood, but I think blood needs to be used sparingly and professionally.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen. Every once in a while, you're just gonna accidentally pop somebody in the face, split a lip, bust a nose. It happens. But like when you're coming out here with like stabbies and like breakies, yeah, you just gotta don't John Moxley it. Like
No,
seriously,
it
he has become the bench level of stop doing that
like
for
blood in
me.
professional wrestling. There's very few times it's been used well. I think like if you look at Stone Cold
Mm,
passing on the sharpshooter with blood over his face, that adds
yeah.
to it so much. Things like that in those big moments, blood works. But when you have a John Moxley doing it every week, I'm like, just stop.
It
Seriously, just stop.
devalues it entirely. And then when somebody actually does it, it's like, oh, okay, look, there's more blood. Better get your
Yeah,
tetanus shot.
yeah. So here we move on to probably the
Haha, yeah,
arguably best in-ring match of the night.
I agree.
The next match contends with it. New Japan Television title, Zack Sabre Jr., Clark Connors, just the back and forth with these guys at the beginning was absolutely phenomenal. Sabre, all the hold he was going, snapping the neck, snapping the fingers. Oh, I hate that.
Whoop,
But then
whoop.
Clark Connors got a really great advantage in this match. It made it and like it made him look absolutely tremendous. Like just so good. And at the end of the match, Sabre tries to go for the Euro clutch, but Connors gets a rear naked choke. Then he tries a power bomb, but Sabre goes for the triangle in the power bomb. So Connors grabs the ankle, but he's got a bad angle on it. So Sabre can like pull the arm and pull them in and caught it this sick, gross arm bar. Like he had it bent in such an odd direction, and Connors immediately taps out.
He was tapping before he hit the ground.
Oh, dude.
He was just no. And like as someone who has dislocated their shoulder before and has seen it in weird, wacky places, seeing when his shoulder went back, I was like, oh no, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Done, tap, done. Yeah, it was nasty. But
Yeah.
Connors though, like, let's not take away from him the power that he was just enforcing on Zack Sabre Jr. this entire match, almost seemingly kind of pissed off Zack Sabre Jr. throughout the match. There were certain points where I noticed it, like earlier, he was not pulling anything. There were certain kicks where, like his PK kick, he freaking nailed him as hard as he could.
Mm-hmm.
And there were several points in the match where I noticed that, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. would go back to his normal kind of what it is that he's doing. But then all of a sudden, he just suddenly gets annoyed, steps
Yeah,
it up, and
vicious.
just
Yeah.
laid in. And
Mm.
that particular armbar at the end there was one of those moments where I was like, he's mad. He just wants to end this. And yeah, I hate that title though, man. I hate it so much.
A belt is, and the entire group chat. I'm like, just get ready to look at this belt. Just get ready to look at this belt. And it comes up. Everybody's like, oh, it's terrible. Like, not a single
Yeah.
person in my group chat thought it was a good looking title. It was all just.
It looks like a
shit.
credit card that would decline at every purchase.
Like we were all comparing it to the 1970s cast style championships, which is what this is reminiscent of. But those titles look like shit, and so does this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is that move also that I think I heard it on commentary? A drive-by that Connors does, where it's so simple. It's such a silly thing. He bounces off the ropes and just runs into you.
The spear?
No. Zach went this way, he went that way, and when they met, it was when they. Lance Archer does the same thing. He'll throw you into the ropes, hit the ropes on another side, and
Oh,
then
the
just
pounce.
collide.
The pounce.
Yeah, they on commentary they called it a drive-by.
Oh, I know with Archer it's called the pounce because he took that from Monty Brown, who called it the pounce.
Yeah. That's why I was confused about it because I was like, I thought that was called something else, but yeah, in commentary they called it a drive-by. I was like, that is actually really cool.
I had a giant issue with commentary on the fact that Matt Raywell didn't know any of the named moves. Dude, Okada hit a Cobra Flosion in the main event, and he called it a side slam. I was like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You're one of the main commentary people for New Japan. You need to know their named move. Kevin Kelly yells Cobra Flosion almost every Okada match.
Mm-hmm.
You should know this shit.
Now, was he supposed to be color commentary, or was he supposed to be
No,
knowledgeable?
Riccaboni is your play-by-play, and Ray Wolt's your color. But even your color guys should know move names. Chris Charlton knows move names. Kevin Kelly knows move names.
True.
Dude, Kozlov
I
knows
mean,
move names.
it's very unfair to try to compare someone to Chris Charlton, though, because Chris Charlton is like an encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge.
But when Kozlov knows more of the named names than you do, that's bad.
Yeah, that's true. Considering how awful Kozlov is at his job,
and how tremendous Ray Wolt actually is as a commentator. He's so good. It's that voice. That voice that's very different and distinctive. It's like sweet and buttery. I love hearing him do commentary. I love hearing him do commentary. It's a smooth sound to me personally. But again, we all hear. I have fucked up hearing, so.
No, his commentary, like the styling, is amazing. His voice, to me, the tone is a little nasally, but again, like his commentary, far, far, far better than the Alex Kozlov. Though I do agree, like there were certain moves that I noticed that he called wrong, or like I'm sitting there like, it's me, it's a Melball. I don't know move names, but I know that before you.
Yeah,
that's not good, sir. No bueno, no bueno.
So after the match, Kevin Knight actually is standing on the ramp as Sabre comes up. So it seems like we're going to get a Kevin Knight versus Zack Sabre Jr. match for the New Japan World TV title. I am totally down for that because I love me some Kevin Knight. And Zack Sabre Jr. is probably my second favorite wrestler going today after Ospreay.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. almost looked a little unwilling to kind of give that to him. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, can you imagine the long limbs of both of those guys? Ooh, it's going to be a fun match.
Now, this to me is the only other thing that contends with the last match for match of the night. I think this might edge it out just slightly because of the story in this match and the story they told and how good both these women performed. I don't think I've ever seen Sasha Banks have as good of a match as this. Mercedes Mone have as good of a match as this in years, and she was having phenomenal matches with Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, Bianca, but this was a whole nother level. And even Kairi stepping up her game in this one too. Dude, just both these girls I think did absolutely phenomenal. And the story they told of Kairi just being this dominant force almost in this match, it was really weird. And then Mercedes I think she I got a spot at the end, towards the end, where Kairi was going. I have so many notes for this match. This is insane.
Let's go through them so that when I get to talk, you don't interrupt me.
Yeah, Kairi's off the top of that insane elbow, and Mercedes puts her feet up. I thought she might have dislocated her shoulder because the way she came down on the arm, her arm went on the legs. I was like, oh, because it could have been very bad or knocked the elbow out or something, but she seemed okay. But dude, like the spinning back fist by Kairi when Mercedes Moné was running at her and she just cracks her with that spinning back fist, the cutlass. Oh, dude, that looked like worse than most, man. Big shout out. Mercedes got the belly to Bailey or the Bailey to belly in this match because supposedly Bailey was there to watch her wrestle this match. Same with CM Punk was there. Former local professional wrestler Giselle Shaw was there. No Way Jose was there supposedly. So I'm just going by what I saw on Twitter.
Here's about No Way Jose.
No way. Dude, there was a table spot where they go over to the ramp and Mercedes tries to suplex Kairi through a table, but Kairi slips down and power bombs Monet through the table. Holy moly. And then brings her back in. This is after the ref got taken out, I think. And it's a great spot. Monet goes for the frog splash after blocking the insane elbow, but she runs into the knees. She gets the bank statement, or Kairi gets the bank statement on Monet, which is her former submission finisher, or just or Monet's former submission finisher. But she actually ends up biting the hand, like when it bites the hand to get out of it. Very reminiscent of a certain Yujiro Takahashi in that sense. But the moneymaker DDT, that moneymaker she had, they hit it properly this time, which I'm so happy they didn't mess that thing up. That finisher, the spin out into the DDT. And Mone win.
Certainly wasn't perfect, but they was effective.
It was better than the Wrestle Kingdom one, that's for darn sure. Which they
Wrestle
cut
Kingdom
out.
Was just a flop. That wasn't even a DDT.
The rest. So when they showed the video before this match for the Wrestle Kingdom, when they went, she gets her up for the move, and then it cuts to when Kairi's on the mat. They cut out the actual move. I was like, not surprised. But in the end,
that's smart.
The Money wins the match. The Money is champion. The CEO is now on top of the IWGP Women's Division. I'm very happy with this thing because I'm a big fan of Mercedes Mone, and I see why they did it, and I'm very okay with it. Mel, take it away.
I disagree. And I only disagree because you know how I feel about title exchanges, title defenses. This was Kairi's first defense. She went through a gauntlet-style tournament facing Mayu. Whatever.
Cam Nakano.
Right. Was that though? I don't.
That was technically the first defense.
Yeah. Regardless, I didn't feel that it should have been a time for her to lose the title yet. Again, though, as you said, I understand why. From a business perspective, I understand why. Because at this point, they're trying to break into the market. They're trying to get into the North American market. Who's going to do that better, Kairi or Mercedes? Mercedes. Everyone recognizes Mercedes, regardless if a Kairi was in WWE or not. She wasn't given the run that Mercedes was given when she was there. So she's not as recognizable to the North American crowds. She's recognizable, but she's not as recognizable as Mercedes.
And there's a language barrier there too.
I mean, yeah, again, that goes back to the business perspective, but like, I would have liked to see Kairi hang on to the championship for a little while. That being said, though, this isn't, in my opinion, this isn't the top belt in regards to the women's division in this. It's just the one that allows the kind of foot in the door kind of thing. Like in regards to Stardom, obviously I still hold the World of Stardom championship that Julia has in a higher regards than the IWGP Women's Championship here. So like, would I like to see that champion versus champion? Sure. Prove to me which one's more dominant than the other one. That being said, though, am I annoyed with the end of this match? A little, because the match itself was phenomenal. I definitely felt that Kairi was going to come out on top of this. To see Mercedes come out, I was a little disappointed. But again, from a business perspective, I do understand why. But man, there's something to be said about somebody coming in and being handed something, though, right?
Yeah,
you know,
I understand why, but I don't know. I would have loved to see Kairi win this and continue as champion. I would, but I'm not disappointed by the ending.
I mean, you got to also remember who Kairi went through to get to that point. You know,
alpha female and my
Jazzy Gabbert.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting. No, that was a great match.
Oh yeah, guy, my guy. That was my match of the year for Stardom last year. Was Kairi Sane versus Jazz Gabbert, which should tell you something about what I think about the ability of these small women to take on the amazing German powerhouse Amazon who is Jazzy Gabbert. I mean, her WWE run was a little rough on her, but I'm sorry, I don't feel necessarily that Mercedes will necessarily know what hit her if she gets into the ring with Jazzy. That being said, wouldn't mind seeing it.
No, me either. And I know from reports that Azumi is going to be the next challenger for Mone after she faces.
Figure out how to say her name?
I don't know. I just know it's supposed to be Azumi because Azumi. But then one thing I've been noticing, because I follow Mimi Nishirakawa on Twitter, she's been calling out Mone like crazy. So I could see it
He's
being
angry.
Azumi next, and then maybe some Club Venus, baby. Maybe some
I mean,
Mina Shirakawa. I would love that.
if I'm Mina, I'm pissed because Mina's been working her ass off, especially through 2022. Now starting 2023 with Club Venus, with the formation of Mariah May and Zaya Brookside. Yeah, I would feel like I'm being ignored a little bit because how many times besides that the match where Kamitani shattered her jaw, um, how often is she in the title picture? And let's be honest, she freaking deserves it. She's working so hard. I mean, I would almost say she's like the cute Kenta of stardom because she just hits that hard, but she does it so almost adorably hilariously because we know how Kenta can be with his power walking and his
Come on, he's
goofiness.
adorable. He's adorable too. Come on.
He is, yes, when he starts doing his little shimmy, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, when this match first happened, I was a lot more annoyed at when it
Oh,
happened, but now that
I
I've had a lot more time to think about it, I'm good. What? Say
I
it.
have the messages from your annoyance.
Yes, I was very annoyed, because again, like, I don't there's things to be said about people being given things when they go into the company. Charlotte Flair is a great example of that. However, from a business standpoint, I do understand why it's happened, why it's happening the way it is, and why it's probably going to continue to happen that way. And it's simply because she's more marketable in North America, which is what they're trying to do right now. And to me, it makes sense. Something we neither of us mentioned up until this point that needs to be mentioned since we are talking about mental health, though, is the shout out that Mercedes Mone did with her ring gear to the late great Hana Kimura. Again, shouting out someone who we lost to mental health. Yeah, it was very, very sweet. At first, when I saw it, I was like, what is she doing? I was like, oh, I see furry boots and face mask.
And even like the way the top was built and everything,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
not the piece in the middle, but the top, her actual top and trunks,
Yeah.
the way they were shaped and built looked exactly like Hana Kimura's.
Mhm,
And the
mhm.
coloring made like look like a Hana Kimura color, how one of the
Yeah,
kind of colors she would wear. That like
exactly.
it was all done very intentionally. Because if you look at
Mhm,
her normal way her ring gear usually is on her top, it was a very different shaping to what it used to be.
absolutely.
So yeah.
And what I appreciated even more about it is that it was a shout out to Kimura, but then as the match went on and as she had to start shedding essentially pieces of it, as they, came off or got loose or whatever, it was almost like she metamorphosized into
Her own look.
Mercedes Mone.
Yeah.
Like she went from being Mercedes Mone who's shouting out Hana Kimura to like the styling of the clothing was still unique enough to Mercedes that with or without the little additions that made it look like Kimura, it was still
Mm-hmm.
a Mercedes original. And I
Very much
really,
so.
really appreciated that.
Me too. It looked really good.
Mhm.
And then shout out to Kairi's gear. Always looks fire.
Kairi
So
always looks fire. Like that's yeah.
we're gonna move on to the main event. I'm gonna move through this one quick because, like,
Yes.
as much as I love these two, this is a 22-minute version of the same match they've had for the last 10 years. And
Mhm.
it's not a shot at these guys because both these guys are absolutely phenomenal. I enjoyed watching this match.
Yeah.
But again,
You can only do so much.
you can only do so much. They didn't really do much different. Again, we all knew what the finish was going to be. We all knew Okada was keeping the championship. Tana's
Mhm.
not going to take this title here. There were some great movements back and forth. The Tana's small package reversal of the Rainmaker. Again, this is the guy so you know how to do that. Absolutely
Mhm.
phenomenal. Okada with the Cobra Flosion, always looking phenomenal. I love that move. Um,
Mhm.
it's just both these guys had reversals for pretty much almost everything the other had, and it was absolutely just great. But in the end, Okada hits the Rainmaker, gets the win. But I think the biggest point of this match is the post match that he is cutting his speech in the ring, and Mone cuts him off. And she not cut him off, but she came out after he's
Mhm.
saying, "I want to fight." He's telling Tanahashi, we need to team up and go after the tag titles. But then Mone comes out and says she wants to team with him. So I think we're going to get another sort of historic crossover show, something of that sort, where it's going to be her and Okada versus two other people, another man, another woman. I think that's what they're hinting at. Yeah, dude, Tanahashi and
Utami Hayashishita versus Okada and Mercedes,
or Goto and Micah.
I would personally actually like to see Utami.
No, don't get me wrong, but I would love to see Goto and Micah in that match.
I mean, I would actually personally like to see maybe Zack Sabre Jr. and Julia go against
Tom
Goto
and Suri.
Micah. Because how much confusion would that cause? You know, you got a DDM kind of confliction there. I mean, how much of the dickiness would Zack Sabre Jr. be able to pull out of Julia in that situation? I mean,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. But back to this one. This one was exactly what I wanted to see, sort of, with these guys. You know, I wanted to see a sling blade. I wanted to see a money clip. I wanted to see a rainmaker. I wanted to see the rainmaker pose. We got all of these things. It was essentially, I don't want to say it was like getting all your spots in, but it essentially was getting all the good spots in that, you know, the NJPW crowd did want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right, though. It was the same kind of match that these guys have been kind of having. I have the same kind of feelings towards Chris Jericho's run when he was doing the Painmaker thing and the Okada, Tanahashi, Naito. Like, it was kind of the same match over and over and over again, but it had a different level of entertainability to it. And you still kind of got something out of it. And that's kind of how I felt with this one. I actually would have been happier, I think, if the last two matches were switched around. If maybe
that's what
the
I was going to say.
IWGP Women's Championship was the main and this was the semi.
I'm with you on that, and because I got like I didn't really think about that note as we were watching it, but I was listening to BAM Weekly from the SNME Radio Network with Boris and Matt. Good friend of mine, Boris, who was supposed to come on the show a little while back, but schedules conflicted, and I know we're going to try to get him on.
We'll get him eventually.
We're going to get him on in the future, but they were saying that imagine if it was flipped, and then Okada came out after Mercedes won the match to kind of give her an endorsement almost. In that sense, I think that would have made it even bigger, because if he would have came out to endorse her and say, let's team up sometime, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would have flowed a little better in that sense.
I think it also would have been a little bit more almost, I don't want to say welcoming, but it would have almost been like a solidification for Mercedes at that moment, because it would have been like the IWGP champion, the highest rated champion in this company, is not only acknowledging you, he's acknowledging your title run, he's acknowledging that he wants to partner with you. I think it would have actually probably been better.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
It is what it is, and we got what we got, though.
Yeah, it is. But we are coming to the end of this show. I guess we'll be back next week with some more New Japan Puroresu. We'll be talking the Muda final show, because there is some big New Japan representation on that show. And we are going to, I think next week or possibly the week after, wrap up the Fantastica Mania tour. I'm not going to be watching every single match in this, because again, there's six. I got to go to work. Mel's lucky; she's in school.
I work from home.
Working from home. So she's lucky that I got to go to work. So I'm going to be cherry picking matches on each night. Mel will probably leave the next show we're talking about Fantastica Mania, because she'll be watching everything, and I'll chime in on the matches. I'm going to watch at least a couple per night. It's a lot. That's what, like 8 matches per night over 7 days. I can't. In over 6
You got to get introduced to all of these little guys, because each little lucha guy has something different to bring to the table. Just because they're all flippy dippy dippies.
Oh, I'm not going to watch the same guys every night.
Flippy dippy dippies.
Oh, I'm gonna try to watch different guys every night. Like, I'm gonna try to expose myself to as much as I can. So we'll be back possibly next week, if not the week after. I know next week we'll be talking about the Muda show, because next week is going to still be towards the end of that tour. We're not sure if we're going to have it all gotten in by that point, but if not, we'll be back the week after with some more. And along with that, that week we'll probably talk about that junior festival too. So yeah, but yeah, and then next week we'll be back with some more Stardom too, talking more Triangle Derby, ladies and gentlemen. And soon coming up, we'll be almost done the Triangle Derby, and we're getting to some Cinderella tournament. So we get some great stuff coming up for you in the next couple of weeks. Actually, I'll probably be back in I'll probably be back myself with probably bringing back Andreas to talk some Love Pro Wrestling next week on a edition of Chop Talk. So get ready for that too. I'm talking some local pro wrestling again. So I want to thank everybody for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe down below, and comment. We want your comments. I want to hear your comments. And I got to give some big shout outs right now to Rogue Energy, code OLE Pods for 10% off your order at rogueenergy.com. And again, get some shout outs right here too. Our good friends over at Our Local Establishment who help us out giving us that code. Go to Our Local Establishment on YouTube at youtube.com/at Our Local Establishment, or twitch.tv/Our Local Establishment, on Instagram and TikTok at OLE Podcasts. A lot of phenomenal stuff over there. If you go to the YouTube page, you'll have my most recent episode of Marvel Talk with my good buddy Old Ed, talking Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, featuring your co-host on the Ladies Wrestling Showcase, Ashley Frizar, in my first ever show with her, which was awesome. She was absolutely phenomenal to talk to. And then all the other great content. You got Bobby and Carl doing Beats and Beatdowns. Yeah. You have the watch-alongs from the Parish likes to do on Monday nights up for Raw. You have Taking Over. You have Making an Impact. You have so much great stuff coming.
Making an Impact is actually Astrid.
Oh, it's on Astrid's. Okay, I apologize.
Taking Over is the
Taking Over is there. Yeah, and then you have Carl's Turnbuckle Talk on there, along with on his own channel. So lots of great content coming from Our Local Establishment. Check them out. I pop in from here and there on different random shows. We're going to try and do some trailer breakdowns, myself and Ed.
Yuki-ish on there.
It's got some Paramindful on there. Yeah. So there's a lot of great content. I'm sorry. That's one I should know because you're
it's my only show on there too.
Yeah, there you go. So a lot of great content there. I want to thank you very much. But then also, if you might be watching us over on Backbreaker Video right now, if you are, thank you so much for supporting Backbreaker Video, supporting us for all of our content there. Obviously, you're watching. You could be watching at youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video. Mike also has a lot of great other content for his channels at youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming. Check that out, and you can watch him multiple times a week on Twitch at twitch.tv/MikeTheRef. A lot of great content coming from there. Watching along for AEW Diamond every Wednesday, and a lot of other great content of all the video game stuff he's doing. Absolutely phenomenal. He just finished up Hi-Fi Rush. Absolutely phenomenal looking game. Check that out. All that content is also put back up on Backbreaker Gaming as a video afterwards. And if you are watching us over on Backbreaker Video, please check us out over here at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube, youtube.com/Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also check us out on Facebook. We got a great page there. We like to interact with everybody.
Melball's always posting stuff up on there. You gotta check that out. And if you're wanting to watch NJPW, we will leave a link to the website in the description box below. It is NJPW-World.com. It is 920 yen now. I actually paid less than $10 this month. However, it is approximately $10 US. You get amazing wrestling, and if you actually go to the website there, all of the the TV World title matches are all available for free, so they kind of give you that little taste of what you would be in for before taking that plunge to subscribe on there. And so my friend, if they're wanting to follow you on social media, where are we going to find that Canadian guy?
And again, I still haven't updated it because I'm insane and I keep forgetting to. You can catch me on Twitter at That Canada Guy, Instagram at That Canada Dude, Hive and Mastodon at That Canada Guy. I haven't really posted much on those because, again, I haven't started using them too much. And you can catch me at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube and on Facebook.
Excellent. And if you're wanting to follow Melball on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Collins Melball. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Mastodon at Melball Collins. Do we have anything else?
No.
Do we have anything else? I think we shouted out the beautiful natural. We've shouted out OLE. We've shouted out Mike the Ref. We've shouted out. Shouted out?
Shorty oi.
Shouted out. I'm getting into the Irish time of the day.
Sounds like how we
My
say
goodness.
Maya's last name. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi. Maya wee. That being said, everyone, we are coming to the end of our video here. I am your Melball. That is your Andre over there. We will see you next time. Adios.